Hello friends, in this session I am going to take up for discussion funds or finance related challenges faced by PRI system in India. I have already told you that 3 F's challenges and 3 F's challenges in terms of funds, finance, in terms of functions, power, in terms of functionary. But if you ask me, the biggest challenge which Panchayati Raj institutions in India are facing today relates with inadequate funds and lack of financial devolution. Because if if you don't have money, then no matter whatever intentions you have, no matter whatever is the level of your commitment, you will struggle. Same is what is happening with the Panchayati Raj institutions in India, that they are not able to make forward movement because of inadequate funds in their hands, and the financial devolution by states in favor of panchayats is not taking place very effectively. So to understand this challenge and what the way forward, first you need to understand that in the present scenario, in the existing system, what are the different ways through which funds are reaching to Panchayati Raj institutions. I would just like you all, right, to understand this, that there are 5 ways, right, through which funds are reaching to Panchayati Raj institutions in India. And if you see these 5 ways, okay, so one is, right, one is grant from union government, grant from union government as per recommendations, of Central Finance Commission, and this is what is given in article, Central Finance Commission is given under article 280 of Indian Constitution. So whenever Finance Commission, Central Finance Commission will give recommendations to government, then in that recommendation there will be mentioned that some grant should be, provided by the union government for Panchayati Raj institutions. So one is, right, one is grant from union government as based on the recommendations of Central Finance Commission. Second is, right, second is devolution from state government, devolution from state government based on recommendations of State Finance Commission, State Finance Commission, and this State Finance Commission is given under Article 243I. Okay. Now devolution. So State Finance Commission, I have already told you that governor will constitute State Finance Commission, and that State Finance Commission will review the financial health of Panchayati Raj institution, and that will also, decide the principles which will govern the division of proceeds of taxes which are to be shared between states and panchayats. Okay. So devolution from state government based on recommendation of State Finance Commission. This is the second way in which funds are reaching to Panchayati Raj institution. The third way is loan or grant from state governments. So state governments can give them loan and can give them grant. Now you should not be confused. These two words are different in meaning. Grant is what? Something which is not to be repaid. It's a support. Okay. But loan is what? That is also a kind of support, but loan is to be repaid. So first is grant is given by central government, where central government will say that this much money for this purpose we are giving to panchayats on the basis of recommendations of the Central Finance Commission under Article 280. That is the first way in which funds are reaching to Panchayati Raj institution. Devolution means what? Rights. They have the right. Okay. So it will be decided by the State Finance Commission that which all proceeds of the taxes will be collected by state, but proceeds are to be shared between states and Panchayati Raj institution. And third is, on some occasion, some loan or grant can be provided by the state government for panchayats. The fourth is, and this is important, program specific allocation. Program specific allocation under centrally sponsored schemes. Centrally sponsored schemes, right, or additional central assistance. Additional central assistance. This is the fourth way. Okay. So let us say that maybe under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, the funds will reach, but that is only to be used for construction of rural road as per other specification within the scheme. So the fourth way in which money or funds are reaching to Panchayati Raj institution is program specific allocation under centrally sponsored scheme or additional central assistance. And the fifth is internal resource generation. Internal resource generation. So they can generate money on their own through some of the activities and some fee, taxes which they are entitled as per the law of the state to levy, collect, appropriate and use. Okay. So internal resource generation. So I would just like you all to have the understanding that there are 5 ways in which in the present scenario, in the current setup, money or funds are reaching to panchayat. The first is the grant from the central government as per the recommendations of Central Finance Commission, which finds mention under Article 280 of Indian Constitution. The second mechanism is devolution from state government based on recommendations of State Finance Commission, which finds mention under Article 243I of Indian Constitution. Third can be that the state government can give loan or can provide, can give sanction grant to Panchayati Raj institution. Fourth is they may get money under centrally sponsored schemes or maybe under additional central assistance. And the fifth is they can generate some revenue on their own if they are given a statutory backing for the subjects which is for functional purpose under their purview. Okay, so these are the 5 ways. Now you need to understand that despite the 5 ways through which funds can reach, money can reach to Panchayati Raj institutions, yet why they are struggling, you need to have understanding. Now you see, we will just examine all these ways one by one, and then only you will be able to understand where lies the real problem. Now you just see, grant from Union government as recommendation of Central Finance Commission. Now this is a grant, okay, this is a grant, okay, and since this is a grant, it is as per, wish. They don't have right, so this is as per wish of central government, as per, if they will have surplus, right, if they will have surplus, then only it is to be given, okay. So it is as per wish, or rather I would use the word mercy of central government. They cannot claim. If the financial health will be good for central government, then only they will think of some grant which they can give to Panchayati Raj institutions under the, as per the recommendations of. So this is completely wish or mercy based, okay, wish or mercy based. This is what you should remember. Now when it comes to this devolution of from the state government based on the recommendation of State Finance Commission and loan and grant. Now for option 2 and 3, what I would say, what is the problem? Within the federal polity of India, if we examine the financial relationship between center and state, then states are heavily dependent on center. Their own financial health is bad. Since the own financial health of states is bad, how can you expect devolution of finance from a state in favor of panchayat? And how can you, expect that the state government will give loan or grant to Panchayati Raj institutions when they are struggling? Acute nature struggle is there to meet their own finance, to meet their own financial needs. So this is the biggest problem you have to understand, that we want money to reach to panchayats from states, but states' own financial health is so poor, they are so much dependent on center, and this is what is not allowing effective devolution from state government based on recommendations. And no question arises, as for rare occasion we will see they will agree to grant or sanction a loan or grant to panchayats. Okay, so option number 2 and 3, where is the challenge? Have you understood? The challenge is arising for option number 2 and option number 3 from this reality that within the federal polity of India, if we compare the financial relationship, if we examine the financial relationship of center and the states, then the states are heavily dependent on center. They are at the mercy of center. Now in such scenario, we cannot expect effective devolution to take place from states in favor of panchayats. And when it comes to loan and grant component, loan and grant anybody will give only when that person has surplus. You will give loan, right, to your friend when you have surplus. Okay, if you are struggling, acute struggle is there, if you cannot meet your own food needs, will you be in a position to sanction loan or grant from, your pocket for some friend of yours. No. Okay. So option number 2 and 3, this is why is not proving a very effective mechanism for funds to reach to panchayats. Now when it comes to option number 3, right, option number 3, funds are reaching, option number 4, funds are reaching, program specific allocation under centrally sponsored scheme and additional central assistance. So funds are reaching, but those funds are to be used for the purpose for which it has reached, number 1. Okay. Requirement of panchayat will be different. Okay. Let us say that in a panchayat there is a need for community health center, but funds have come under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Only thing what can be, only purpose for which that money can be used for construction of rural road. And not only this, my friends, you need to understand this, that even these centrally sponsored schemes have so rigid structure and so much compliances are there that many a times funds will, go back unused. Okay. So let us say, right, let us say that under centrally sponsored scheme which is for construction of rural road, there is a specification that, the road to be constructed will be, cemented road, and it will have a minimum width of 8 feet. Okay, let us suppose. Now, in that village there is a very, very compact settlement, and the compact settlement is not permitting construction of 8 feet wide road. But if 4 feet wide road if we construct, that can solve some purpose, but that is not permitted because very rigid is the structure of the scheme. If you cannot construct 8 feet broad road, then return the money, because this decision is taken in New Delhi. But ground realities are different in different parts of India. So rigid is the centrally sponsored schemes that many a times you will find that funds will allocated will return back unused. Sometime the funds will reach late, and by the end of financial year, if the funds were not used, it is to be returned back. So panchayats, they don't have any freedom related with the money which they get under centrally sponsored scheme, and very, very rigid structure of the scheme, many a times too many compliances, many a times is becoming the contributory factor for that fund returning back unused. That is why this is again not a very effective means for funds to reach to panchayat. Now, this internal resource generation, though is one mean, ideally this should have been the strongest, but this is the weakest. It's very, very weak. Right? Very, very weak. And why it's weak? Again, because a statutory backing is not there. State governments have not enacted law to give a statutory backing with the help of which Panchayati Raj institutions can generate some resources on their own. I told you that if central government is constructing national highway, they can collect toll tax. State government is collecting state highways, they can also collect toll tax. When panchayat, if there is, village road, why can't panchayat collect tax? And let us say, I hope while you are traveling on national highway, you must have seen that who all are exempted. You will see President of India, Prime Minister, police vehicle and so on and so forth. You will find Member of Parliament, they are exempted from toll tax. So similarly, the village road to be used by villagers can be exempted, but other villagers, outsiders, if they are using that road for some purpose, there should be some tax, but that is only possible if there is a statutory backing. Go in countries where Panchayati Raj institutions or similar institutions are very powerful because their prime source of fund is their own internal resource generation. And they are innovating newer ways to generate funds and in return facilitate citizenry, facilitate people of village, better amenities, better facilities. I can give you example because we have seen in some states some innovative example. In Bihar, the Bihar government came up with a wonderful idea that there will be a concept of Vriksh Palak, protector of tree. You know what was there in that concept? That public land, the land which is owned by state government, on that land trees will be planted. Okay. And what type of trees will be planted? Fruits trees will be planted. And a landless person from marginalized section of society will be appointed Vriksh Palak, protector of tree. So he will take care. Okay. He will, nurture. He will take care, the tree protector or Vriksh Palak. When the tree will grow big, will mature, fruit bearing age when it will come. Now the fruit which it will bear, when that fruit will be sold, the benefit will be shared in 50-50 ratio between Vriksh Palak and the government. Now you see, right? Multiple benefit through this scheme. Now what will happen? One, greenery will increase, tree cover will increase, pollution level will go down. The plantation which we do many a times, majority of the trees which are planted in plantation drive of governments, they will dry and they will die in lack of proper care. Now this landless person will develop a sense of ownership that though I don't have any land, yet I am owning one fruit tree or two fruit tree, and tomorrow when this tree will grow big, will mature, will enter in fruit bearing age, then I will also be beneficiary. So he will commit himself to protect. Similar innovation can be there by panchayats, no? I told you that in villages we have, now most of the villages in India got electrified. Rural electrification, we are heading towards completion. But we are not finding 24/7 electricity in villages. Now what we can do, panchayat can purchase one generator and panchayat can give connections that whenever there is a, interruption in the power supply, then generator will start. And, each household will be given connection for one LED, one fan, and monthly they just have to pay 50 rupees, 70 rupees, something of that nature. Now, panchayat can earn also. Panchayat can employ somebody, and you just see the consequential benefits. Kids in the village will study in the night. Power failure will not become the reason to induce disruption in village life after sunset. So what I am just trying to say, multiple kerosene use will come down and so on and so forth. Multiple benefits will be there. It will also promote common ownership, cohesiveness, social fabric will change. community dynamics will change. So many benefits we just have to innovate. So many villages in India are on the bank of rivers. Okay, so why can't, we can have motor boat facility managed, operated, owned by panchayats. That will generate revenue. You just see, when we are in big cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Patna, Kolkata, Mumbai, any city, Chandigarh, we pay electricity bill, we pay water bill. Water bill we are paying to whom? Water bill we are paying to the urban local body. Because there is a statutory backing and there is a supportive environment. Tomorrow, I feel that if village panchayat will say that we will be monitoring that which household is consuming how much water, and then you will have to pay some charges so that there is a better manner in which there can be supply of drinking water in every household. There will be some fee. Now today, if this proposal is coming, if is given by the village panchayat, there will be massacre in the village. There will be fight, bloodshed will be there. How dare you, don't you know water is a natural resource? Same person when he is coming to cities, they have willingness to pay the water bill. But when they go back to their village, they don't. Because in cities we have been successful in developing an atmosphere where people feel that yes, these amenities, these facilities should be provided by local government, and if they are providing such facilities, then we have to pay. Similar ecosystem we have to create in villages. Okay, and when you will find in villages, there are 1,000 ways, innovative ways in which they can generate revenue and gradually their financial health will improve. Okay, so this is what should be the focused area. You just see, this is what we need to increase. We should empower, the Panchayati Raj institutions, right? We should empower the Panchayati Raj institutions, and empowering how? Initial upfront investment which is needed, that is what should be provided by the state government. And for better management and operation of the revenue or resource generation system which they will design and develop, a statutory backing, legal backing, right? This is where we should focus. Next series of reforms, if we are looking for Panchayati Raj system in India, financial empowerment. And what way financial empowerment? Their own. We should not make them dependent on state government and central government. Rather, we should empower them that you generate resources on your own through innovation, through your new ideas, and think of some idea which is beneficial for all stakeholders, meaning the people, the state government, the central government, the environment, the ecology, the social, fabric, everything. So we need to focus. And I told you, right? And I told you what is required. What is required? Again, the same thing which I told you earlier, that now we should allow devolution of finance. Center should allow devolution of finance in favor of a state, and a state should allow devolution of finance in favor of panchayats. Even while we are making the centrally sponsored scheme, we should empower Panchayati Raj institutions to bring certain changes based on local needs. Okay, based on local needs. So in centrally sponsored scheme, rather than very rigid structure for this scheme, we should just have, broad framework. And within that broad framework, locally how it is to be implemented, that flexibility and freedom should be given to panchayats if you want the scheme to be implemented through panchayats. Okay. So then only we can say that financial health of panchayats will improve. So I told you there can be n number of ways. Focus should be on internal resource generation. Focus should be on, right, just broad framework within the centrally sponsored scheme, so that micro details of the scheme can be designed, formulated by panchayat based on local needs, so that there is effective implementation, better implementation, less leakages, more utilization. All that will happen when we are giving some freedom to panchayats with some checks and balance as well. Okay. So that is something. And the 2 and 3, these two, right, devolution from a state government based on recommendation and loan and grant from state government, this will prove to be an effective means of funds reaching to panchayat only when states' financial health will improve. And states' financial health will improve if center will allow more devolution of power as well as funds or finance to state governments, right, to state governments. So this is how, this is the way forward. But if we want empowered Panchayati Raj institution, which is the foundation stone of Gram Swaraj, the dream which our father of nation, saw, then we will have to focus on improving the financial health of Panchayati Raj institutions, for which we will have to focus on, internal resource generation. We will have to equip them. We will have to provide tools to them so that they can innovate and, they can on their own take affirmative steps to improve their financial health. And while Panchayat is, trying to improve its own financial health through internal resource generation, their focus should be on, number one, potential, they should identify potential areas for taxation. Potential area for taxation. They should identify where all, within the subjects which fall within the ambit of 29 functional subjects on which has been brought under the purview of Panchayat, in which all subjects there is some potential of collection of some tax or fee. So they should identify potential area for taxation. Then, there must be a fixation of realistic tax structure. So while they are prescribing that this much will be the tax, this much percentage will be the tax, this much will be the fee, they should be aware about the ground realities, the paying capacity of people, the purchasing power of people, their capacity to pay such fee and taxes. So fixation should be realistic, that is number 2. Number 3, widening of tax base. Their focus should be that more and more people, widening of tax base. What is the problem today in India when it comes to central government? They have not been able to widen the tax base. Okay. So while panchayats are thinking, their focus should be widening of tax base. Okay. Fourth should be, they should improve collection, and for improving the collection, a statutory backing will be required, for which they will be dependent on states, and a state government should extend unconditional support to Panchayat to improve the collection, because that collection will improve only when there is a statutory backing, and this collection can improve only when they have staff, right, adequate staff on their own payroll. Okay. And the fourth should be, and this is where I feel is more important, designing and developing newer ways and means to earn revenue other than taxes. This is where my heart is. Means I always feel that this is what should be focused. They should design, develop, innovate. They should create. So much resources are there which we have not been able to use in the village. I told you, no, villages which are, right, why can't, if in urban areas, if parks are, created by local bodies, why can't parks be created in the rural area by Panchayati Raj institution? Maintenance can be done and there can be some fee. Okay, there can be some fee. Why can't there be a community center owned by Panchayat which will provide, which can be given to villager at a subsidized rate if they want to use such a space? Okay, so there can be 100 ways. Market is there, so why can't they collect money? Ponds are there, why can't they involve themselves into fishing to earn some revenue? Until and unless we take affirmative steps to improve the financial health, right, with focus on internal resource generation. I told you that developed countries where Panchayati Raj institutions are very strongly and vibrantly placed, there almost 15% of the money, 15% of the money which reaches to Panchayats are generated by them through their own means and ways. So this is what can help us improve the financial conditions of Panchayati Raj institutions in India.